Hello, Internet! My name is Catherine Barsonistas, and you are watching The Gluttonous Geek, my live cooking show where I make recipes inspired by various tabletop role-playing games, such as Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, and, as in today's episode, Shadowrun. For those who are not familiar, hey Chiptune Brody, good to see you. For those not familiar with Shadowrun, Shadowrun is a cyberpunk tabletop role-playing game taking place in kind of a post-apocalyptic Earth where magic has kind of re-entered the world, and a ton of people wake up as various magical creatures such as dragons, ogres, trolls, orcs, and today's recipe is actually based on one particular orc from Shadowrun Hong Kong, which is the video game version of Shadowrun, the third incarnation of said game. And this orc, her name is Rosario Ignacio, also known as Cherry Pink, her code name, or her other code name, Shadownanny. Shadownanny, as in she works as a nanny for other Shadowrunners. For those who don't know what Shadowrunners are, they're basically the people that corporations hire, i.e. you, to do their various espionage things for them. And, you know, Shadowrunners do have kids as well, so who's going to watch the kids while you're out on a run? That's where Miss Rosario comes into play. And she also makes Lumpia, which is a Filipino spring roll filled usually with pork or whatever pork substitute you can find, shrimp, and normally it is filled with cabbage, carrot, and a couple of other things like mushrooms and whatnot. However, in the Shadowrun universe, it is very much a polluted Earth scenario, so the food sources, especially real food sources, are either incredibly expensive or just not really available. I figure, you know, I've already done tofu on this season, so we're not going to be doing another tofu thing today. I know it's only been 2 episodes since that, so no, we're not doing that. We are going to be using real pork. You have earned your lumpia tonight, so we're going to be using real pork, since krill, little tiny shrimp, are also a food source in the Shadowrun universe. We're going to be using little tiny shrimp in our lumpia, and seaweed is also a staple. Food staple. So we're going to be using, thank you husband, some seaweed salad. Seaweed salad is made with a type of seaweed that's referred to as wakame. Well, the Japanese word for it is wakame. It's a type of green kelp. You can buy wakame from Asian grocery stores and just rehydrate it. However, most of you are not likely to have an Asian grocery store in your area like I do. You might have a sushi counter, however. Babe, what are you looking for? It's on top of the chicken. Yeah. But you are likely to have a sushi counter in your grocery store, and oftentimes they also sell prepackaged seaweed salads, so we're going to be using that as well. And Chiptune Bernie's saying I was playing a cute Metroidvania game on Steam called Gato Roboto. Robot Cat. Thank you, honey. That sounds awesome, actually. So, I've done a lot of explaining. Let's get to cooking. So, first, we're just going to do a little bit of mise en place. For that, you're going to need carrot. Probably not as large of a veg as this is. Yeah, the Asian supermarket in my, nearby me, sells carrots. Rather enormous carrots. Yeah. So we're going to be making this a little bit more bite-sized. And we're going to need about a half a cup of chopped carrot. However, rather than just chopped it, to make it as thin as possible, we're going to peel said carrot and chop it up. So it's very thin pieces that are really good for, you know, well, spring rolls. So, just gonna cut the ends off of that. Derpa 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 der. Bam. That's my hip. I have hips of steel! Or something. Alright, so, just gonna do a bit of peeling. Peel, 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 peel. It doesn't have to be pretty. These are going to be inside of spring roll wrappers after all. Now, lumpia, I found out, is a Filipino dish and usually has its own style of wrapper for it. Lumpia wrappers that are kind of crepe-like rather than the rice paper that you would normally find in, say, a Vietnamese spring roll. So that's what we're going to be using today. That you're more likely to be able to find at an Asian grocery store. However, you can also find them online. Same with wakame, but you know, I'm going to save you a couple of ingredients considering seaweed salad already has really nice sesame oil and soy sauce dressing mixed into it. So, I've got some carrot shavings, so I'm just going to gather those together and give them a quick thin chop, as you can see here. Total, you're going to need about half a cup. And my tabby cat is got the zoomies right now and meowing like crazy. Normally he gets a bedtime treat. His meds around this time, well, about an hour usually. So now that I'm in the kitchen, he's thinking he's going to get his bedtime treat. Which, sorry baby, that's not the case. We're almost at a half a cup. Do a little bit more. So, today's recipe is going to make about 25 small little spring rolls. But we're also going to be making a dipping sauce for it. Because a lot of times when you see lumpia, it is served with kind of a sweet and sour sauce. Well, there's different ways of doing lumpia. The one we're going to be doing today is going to be fried in vegetable oil. Considering that Rosario in Shadowrun Hong Kong mentions that they're crispy and delicious. Another traditional way of serving them is serving them with simply the fresh crepes and kind of a soy sauce, like soy sauce vinaigrette with fresh peanuts. We are going to be using... I'm not sure if you saw him running through there. God, I need to make a gif of him just kind of running across the screen while cavalry charges playing or something. God. If I had the time to actually put together themes and buttons and stuff for Twitch, or even knew how to do that. Maybe once I hit like 500 followers or something. But usually it takes about 500 followers to even get to that point. Well, no, it usually takes stuff like that to get 500 followers. Excuse me. Okay, that is a better half a cup. Oh. Here he comes. Oh. Moosey, I am very disappointed. Yes, you could have zoomed right to the kitchen. It would have been so adorable. My followers would have loved it. Why must you disappoint me, my son? You know, watch me just switch the camera, and then he's gonna zoom like crazy. Okay. There we go. It's a little bit more than a half a cup, but it'll do. Alright, now I've got my carrot. I need to actually get a chopping board out so I don't have little bits of things flying all over the place. Alright. So... Oh... Okay. Yeah, I should put that all in a bowl, ready to go. Alright. carrot. Okay, next up, go ahead and get that seaweed salad chopped up. And try to reserve all that tasty vinaigrette and stuff that it's in at the bottom. Because that's going to be kind of the base for the sauce that you're going to cook this all in. Pardon me. In the meantime, just chop that up finely and move that to your mixing bowl with your carrot. This is going to be about, you need about a half a cup of seaweed salad. Usually the stuff you find in the store is about a half a cup serving. But if you happen to find one that sells larger quantities, what the heck is going on? Is there something underneath this? Watch there be like another cutting board underneath. No, that's just carrots. Carrots that are making my cutting board go all wonky. Yep, that was what it was. Alright. And mostly I'm just doing this so it mixes well with the pork for these rolls. Okay, there's not as much vinaigrette in there as I thought it would be, so I'm going to have to kind of add on to that. I'll have my husband write those additions down so I can... We're not there yet. Okay, that's all chopped up. And finally, the shrimps. Like, you can find these little tiny shrimps canned at most grocery stores. Buy the canned tuna and all that. And you're probably asking, why are you using canned shrimp and not what's it called, fresh shrimp? Well, I'll tell you about that. It's the Shadowrun universe. Everything's canned and prepackaged. Get used to it. I mean, fresh shrimp? Who can afford that direct? You hear me? Like, I could definitely use a new can opener, though. Let's see. Here we are. Alright, so you got your little tiny shrimps. You drain that. Just get the liquid out of there. Shake that a bit. Who the heck is calling me right now? I just heard something in my little microphone thing. That was a bit weird. Yeah, I have no idea what that was about. Okay. Alright. Just give those a rough chop. Doesn't have to look pretty, it just has to work. Now, if we weren't in the middle of a cyberpunk post-apocalyptic world, you would probably be served this Pinoy style, which is laid out in giant banana leaves and served communally. But this is the Shadowrun universe, which means you're lucky to get a plate that's not made out of styrofoam or something. Since Rosario is a nice Shadownanny, the photo setup I have for today's recipe does in fact have a plate and a bowl. You know, it's kind of funny, the last Shadowrun recipe that I did for the soy-based currywurst. First I was like trying to find some of those kind of paper hot dog boats that you see at various baseball games and all that. Yeah, Kroger does not sell those. Walmart does, but I didn't find that out until right before I was about to film the episode. Alright, so you saw that it was 1 can, and you're gonna need 2 6-ounce cans. I believe that's... Yes. Or 4-ounce cans. We'll use about... So we got about 6 ounces, you need 8 ounces, so... I'll use half of this, and then we can freeze what's left over. Usually it's sold in 4-ounce cans. Apparently I got them in 6-ounce cans. Or is 2 ounces the water? No. You know, this will work. I'll just do all of it. What's another 2 ounces of shrimp? Give that a rinse. So, my handy helper here can put it in the recycling for me. Oh, right, handy helper wants to open a can of shrimp for me. And by handy helper, I mean, what the heck is going on with my microphone? Keeps on making little noises at me. I know it's still recording because I can see the thing on my Streamlabs, but nope, because it's coming in through the earbud. Weird. Weird, 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 weird. Here, have a carrot. So... Oh, and let him open that can of shrimp while I enjoy... Oh, it's back. I was going to enjoy my frosty beverage, but you know, this works too. It's good to have an assistant handy. Alright, got my shrimpies. Also, the advantage of canned shrimp, it's already cleaned and peeled. Saves you some time. Okay. Right. Okay. Okay, it looks like my microphone has, it's getting, that was where the weird noises was. It's low on charge. Brilliant. Great. It's not like I already had 3 viewers on here. Okay, let's see if I can get another microphone going here. Okay. This is not good. Maybe if I can change it. All right. Okay, so the sound is obviously kind of shit right now, but
Yeah, it's because for some reason my rechargeable thingy didn't actually recharge. So you're gonna just have to listen to me with my kind of meh sort of audio. And I'm just gonna go ahead and turn down the background music so you can hear me a bit better. I do apologize for the messed upness that's going on right now. But luckily, webcams have microphones, just really terrible ones. So, but that's okay. We're gonna make this work with my little cat, who is now at my feet because she wants a snack. Hi, Ginger. How are you, my princess? You smell fish, don't you? Yeah, you do. Here you go. Okay, right. Gathering myself back together. Okay, so you've got all your things. We just need to add 2 more things to this mix, and that is some garlic powder and black pepper. Black pepper I did not take out yet. That's okay. And maybe, hopefully, we can, after letting that microphone charge a little bit, especially before I get any frying going on, it'll recharge enough to work better for me. So you're gonna need about, let's see, how much black pepper? A teaspoon of black pepper. 1 and 2. And 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. This is a half teaspoon, so there's 1 teaspoon. 2 teaspoons. Okay. Right, and just add on the little righty things. Make sure that you have your stuff where it needs to be, for one. So I'm going to be adding a tablespoon of soy sauce. Oh. Actually, let's go with 2 tablespoons of soy sauce. 1. Yeah, I need 2 of those. There's 2. And where'd another sesame oil go? Oh, it's over here. Still some left over. A tablespoon of sesame oil. Now keep in mind, you're probably not going to need to do this if you happen to have enough sauce in your seaweed salad. But since I would like mine a little saucier, we're just going to kind of mix that together. So, next step of the process. I'm going to close this door so I don't have to go all over the place. And I'm going to preheat my wok heater. Yes, I finally get to bring one of these things on the show. I'm going to preheat that at about medium heat for about 3 minutes. Okay. So, I'm just gonna I don't need to do this, but I kind of wanted to. I'll toss that all together. I mean, it's all gonna cook up anyway, but it's kind of better distributes it. Okay, and can I go back, please? Thank you, my love. And put these away. Or do I need it later? Do I need this later? I need the garlic powder later. Okay. because we're going to also be making a dipping sauce to go along with these spring rolls. So you're going to need a pound of ground pork, wabam. I mean, feel free to get Italian sausage if you want to, but then you kind of have some conflicting flavors. So we're just going to go with ground pork here. Alright, so as you probably saw with my pizza taco recipe, which if you're on the Patreon, you've seen my pizza taco recipe. If you're not on the Patreon, by the time I actually publish this video, well, I mean, by the time I actually publish the post that goes along with this video, you will know my pizza taco recipe. Go ahead and take a knife and kind of cube it into 1-inch chunks, because the way we're going to cook this is to get a bit more crispy bits onto our pork, and to do that, it helps to add it in chunks, have it kind of stay in the hot oil for a little bit longer, just on one side, for about a minute or two on that side before you break it up and stir it around. The thing is, the flavor is from that Maillard reaction when you have the browning of proteins in high heat. So we're kind of ensuring that by doing this, and I will admit, it's a little easier for me to add to my pan. So, here we go. Hi Cupcake Dex, good to see you on the show. It's been a while. I'm finally at a somewhat what's it called? Regular schedule now. Okay, so, yeah, our skillet's definitely hot enough now. I just need to add a tablespoon of vegetable oil to that mix. Let that get all hot and stuff. And you're gonna hate me because, like I said, my microphone kind of crapped out on me, though, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes is probably not enough time. Okay, bear with me as the noise of my fan. I have to do it, guys. That's the unfortunate reality of this. So, just gonna plop my pork chunks. Ah! That was a terrible idea. And remember that oil is hot. And don't just flip it in. Ah. Wow. Okay. I don't have any styrofoam in there, do I? I'm afraid to find out. Okay. That was terrible. Terrible idea. Wow. Well, now we know the block is hot. Making sure I don't have any styrofoam. Just making sure. If I mentioned it's been a while since I've used the wok, that's a bit of plastic there. Wow. Oh, this is gross. Okay. That plastic. No, it's not. Well, that was a bit embarrassing and mortifying.
Watch your heat, stir, and set, and you talk to people.
Okay. Alright. Well, that was incredibly embarrassing. Yeah, wow, okay. Have I mentioned it's been forever since I've used a wok? Usually I use cast iron. So, I normally... normally, I do not have, little pockets of oil just waiting to spit up at me. I'm cooking. Yay. So, So yeah. Now go ahead and just break that up then.
Yep.
Alright, so my helper here, i.e. my husband, is breaking up the pork and also making sure I didn't give any styrofoam in the pork. Yay. Yeah, that's
Explain
embarrassing.
what happened in case they couldn't hear
So,
you.
in case you weren't able to hear me earlier, I dropped a piece of pork in, it spat up some oil, burned my hand, I dropped the whole thing, and the styrofoam on the package started to melt, so this should be fine. Yeah, should be fine. I don't see any melted styrofoam in there. I hope. You don't see any in there, do you? Okay. Alright. I need that broken up.
Make sure there's no styrofoam.
Okay. Right. So, noted. Next time, the pork can cook on its own. It doesn't need the oil. Add the oil after you cook the pork. Add it when you add this stuff to it. Keep stuff like this from happening and learn from my mistakes. Yeah. Right, so, as you're seeing, you just need to kind of break up the meat as you're cooking until it is broken up and crumbly. How about if I just kind of take over for you there, babe?
You keep talking. I got it.
On the show.
Okay.
Yes. Alright. Right. So, gonna break that up thoroughly because the thing is you need to have little itty bitty bits of pork. Just like you saw with the chopped up shrimp and everything. Just keep breaking it up and cooking until it is completely cooked through. I don't know what it is about tonight. It just seems to be the episode where nothing's going right, you know? There's a microphone crapping out on me, to inexplicably mind you, because it was charging. It was in its charging box, and I had definitely turned it off before I used it last. So, before putting it back on said charger. So, I don't know what's going on with that. Great. And I will admit, this is my first time ever making Lumpia, so it's a learning experience for me as well. Alright, so this is mostly cooked through and broken up. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my ingredients here. And just a touch more oil. All right. Whew. Get that heat back up, or it is sizzling. Make sure everything is broken up for a mostly uniform consistency. I'm going to go ahead and pour in that dressing. So we put that for a minute or so, until everything is fragrant and heated through. And transfer that. To a mixing bowl. Oh. Okay. This is heavy as balls. Yes, I need you to hold. Or rather, I need you to scrape. Babe, I need the handle.
Okay.
And now my fingers burnt. Okay. Okay. And that is all of our filling, which I'm going to cover. So I'm just going to move this to the fridge to let it cool enough to be handled. You hold up the handle. Okay. While we're waiting for that to cool enough to be handled, I'm going to turn this fan off so you can hear me. Though you still can't hear the sound of me screaming inside. Alright. So, I'm just going to give a quick rinse to a couple of these things, namely the mixing bowl that I was working with earlier. Nothing was raw in there, so it's okay if we happen to use that again. And also means fewer dishes for me to clean up. So there you go. Alright. Okay, next up we're going to start working on a dipping sauce to go along with our lumpia. So for that, you're not going to need the bowl except when it's done. We're going to need the stovetop again. And a saucepan. And I'm now kicking myself for forgetting to grab my brown sugar. Now, Ben, can you grab that for me from the pantry?
Brown sugar.
Brown sugar. I might have that up here. I'm just going to take a quick check. Nope, it is in the pantry. Okay. Oh boy. Alright, so you're going to want about 1.5 cups of water into that saucepan. Moved a bench. Right. So 1.5 cups of water. And bring that to a boil over medium heat on stove top. Which, since we're not really dealing with grease right there, I'm not worried too much about using like not using the fan in that particular sense. Okay, I'm gonna need a clean tablespoon. So you're gonna want to have about 3 tablespoons of brown sugar. This is a 1/2 tablespoon measuring spoon, so about 6 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're done with that. Rinse. And you're going to want about 3 tablespoons of sunflower butter. And the reason why I use sunflower butter for this recipe, for another Shadowrun Munchies and News recipe I did, I made a sunflower butter based ketchup. And I figure, in a world that's gotten kind of irradiated, it kind of makes sense to grow sunflowers because it actually acts. It's a plant that helps remove radiation from the soil. So, you are more likely to have things like byproducts of sunflowers, i.e. sunflower butter. Also very good for cycling out crops. So, there's 1. 2, and 3. Do I have any other wet ingredients that involve? Right, soy sauce. Pop in a tablespoon of soy sauce with that. All right. We'll just set that there to soak. Alright, while waiting for our water to boil. Alright, and let's see, you're going to need a 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it sounds like our water is boiling. So let's just switch cams there. Oh, we're kind of on there. In the meantime, I'm going to need to put my thickeners together. So, okay, can you give me a small bowl? Or I guess I could probably just use this. That works too. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and prep the thickening portion first, which honestly you don't really need all that much because you are using sunflower butter, which is pretty thick on its own. So you only need a tablespoon, despite what my actions are saying to do, of cornstarch. You're going to need 3 tablespoons, however, of water. Just 1, 2, 3. And you just need to kind of whisk that into a slurry. Now, our water is now boiling. So now it is time to put in all of this stuff here. I'm just going to use a spatula to get all of that out. And so I kind of whisk that until there's no more clumps. Okay. Now, that slurry that we made earlier, I'm just going to go ahead and get that in there as well. And just keep whisking. And we're going to let that come to a simmer, because we want that to thicken to a pretty good consistency for a dipping sauce. While I am waiting on that, I'm going to go ahead and put away a couple of things, just so they are out of my way. Just try to, with how strange my fridge is letting me Tetris it. Oh. I'm going to turn that down to low so it doesn't boil over. I'm just going to stir it a bit more to see how it's thickening. We're not quite there yet. What we want to see is it thicken and reduce and thicken until it's about, I want to say about half that. You see, it is definitely thickening there. Right. Let's get some more of the stuff out of the way. Oh. Black pepper can go up here. Ooh. This. However, I'm just going to replace my board with a larger cutting knife here. Give that a quick taste. Easy way to do that. You're not wasting more than 1 spoon in the tasting process. I'll spin a little bit into a little dish. It's quite good. Alright. I think I might just add a little bit of salt though, to up the sodium content a little bit more. It's very sweet right now. I think like things a little bit more savory. But that's entirely up to your own preference. Give that another taste. The nice thing about kosher salt, I can taste the difference pretty much immediately because it dissolves so quickly. Much better. Okay, so I would say let the heat up just a little bit more, just the tiniest bit, so it doesn't overboil so much. As it kind of lets it thicken up just a little bit more. Okay, so at this point, you should have been thawing out your Lumpia wrappers. And there's also a way to basically figure out how to, there are instructions on the back on how to prepare them. Since we are doing fried spring rolls, all I really have to do is thaw them out. And, let's see here. Looks like I need to open pack, remove stack spring roll pastry, and cover with a damp paper towel to maintain moisture. Okay, yeah. Looks like I'm basically doing what needs to be done. So, I'm going to cut this open, and it should be about 25 lumpia wrappers per package. So we're going to make about 25 of these. Though I might end the episode a little early, depending on how long it takes to actually assemble them. Hi there, the Ender Chicken. Nice to meet you. Welcome to my show. I apologize for the audio. My wireless microphone decided to not actually charge fully before I started streaming. So yeah, it kind of crapped out on me within about 15 minutes of the episode. So yay. Maybe. I mean, I can always switch it back to the webcam. So let's see if it has enough charge now. We shall see. All right, let's turn it on. Okay, that sounds like it's working. Let's just change the properties on this. Get back my microphone. Microphone! God, I hope this is the... Okay. No, that is not the... Hello? That's not the correct thing. Okay. Aha!
Alright, now I have decent audio again. Yay! Yay! I'm so happy. Yay! Okay, so, just follow those instructions. Damp paper towel. So yes, for those of you just joining, this show of mine is called Munchies and Minis. It's where I make recipes inspired by various tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons & Dragons, Pathfinder, and today's episode, Shadowrun. This recipe is actually from, well, the recipe itself, but the food, yes, from Shadowrun Hong Kong, which is the computer game, well, the third version of the video game based off the Shadowrun game, which is a cyberpunk RPG where magic is returned to the Earth and everything is kind of post-apocalyptic and crazy. We are making some Filipino spring rolls based on this Shadowrunner named Rosario Ignacio, also known as Cherry Pink, or Shadownanny. And sometimes she likes to cook up fresh lumpia for her charges. So if you're a good kid staying for your nanny, you get some fried lumpia made up for you. So okay, now I've got my spring roll, I've got my lumpia wrappers here, which unlike a lot of other spring roll wrappers, they are more of a crepe sort of texture as opposed to the very thin rice paper that you used to seeing. So, we need to first read the thing I'm actually doing. And let's just take a quick look at that dipping sauce. Yeah, that is looking like it's the right consistency. Let's give that a stir. Okay, that is coating the back of the spoon nicely enough. I want that a little thicker though, so I'm gonna let it continue to do its thing. So yeah, I was making a dipping sauce with brown sugar, soy sauce, and sunflower butter. Tasted it, it's pretty darn good. Okay, so, right. We need to get one of these wrappers out and try not to tear them while we're at it. Okay. And I will admit this is my first time trying to make this recipe, so while I am doing my own take on it, where instead of using cabbage and water chestnuts, I am going off of the Shadowrun's usual food supply, considering that real food is usually very expensive and reserved for only a treat, which we do have pork, but other common food sources are soy, krill, and seaweed. So I've got carrot, seaweed salad, and little mini shrimp chopped up and stir-fried in this dish. So okay, now we got one lumpia wrapper. Let's put that back on there to keep it moist. Okay, so try not to get that all stuck on things. Okay, so you're gonna need about 3 tablespoons of filling. There we go. And then you want to fold it over like so. Fold up the ends. And then wrap it up. Is this a half tablespoon? That's a tablespoon, okay. Just kind of wrap that up. And set that to the side. There we go. We've got one. Okay. All right. Something oddly cathartic pulling this away. I don't know what it is. Maybe just kind of that feeling of stretching something, just kind of a weird sort of texture-based ASMR, I guess. I will admit, those ASMR videos they creep me out so much. It's the cute little light whispering. Yeah, no, it's a little creepy. I mean, it's especially if I'm on Spotify. There's this one commercial that decided to go with the ASMR approach, and I'm just listening to my music, and then I suddenly have this creepy little girl whispering in my ear, and I'm just going, ah, no, thank you. Okay. You know what the crazy thing is? Out of all the things I thought that could possibly go wrong tonight while putting together this recipe, this was actually the part that I thought that would go wrong for me. But it seems that no, everything before it just happened to go super, super wrong. Who knew? But hey, I've got my microphone back. That's good. Everything is cooked. There's no styrofoam in my food, thank goodness. And soon, I will be frying these up, these little pockets of deliciousness. Alright, let's see where our sauce is at. That is thickening up rather nicely. Just give that a stir. Got a little bit of skin on it, it'll be fine. Okay. We are almost there. Yeah, I want it to coat that back of the spoon just a little more thickly, so I'm just gonna let it continue to slowly simmer until it gets to the consistency that I want it at. Let's go back to making some lumpia. So... here we are. Now the stuff, like I said, doesn't necessarily have to be fried. You could just serve this with the sauce on top of it. And that is referred to as fresh lumpia. However, since Rosario, i.e. Cherry Pink, referred to this as being crispy and delicious, we're gonna fry them up. So, once again, 3 tablespoons of filling in a diagonal line across the center. Fold that over the length. Fold the corners in like so. And then tightly roll it up. And we're just going to set that seam down on our board until we are ready to fry. But yeah, tonight's recipe was actually voted on by my Patreon subscribers. It was between this, a pork and chestnut stew based off of Dungeons & Dragons, or kind of a, I guess, onigiri with sort of an egg and mashed potato green onion filling called From the Fields, also from Dungeons & Dragons. Yeah, it was this that had gotten about 75% of the vote. So, it's what we're making tonight. And the cool thing about this is you don't necessarily have to fry it up immediately. You could freeze them and then fry them later. Which, I might just end up doing that. With some of them. Because, you know, it's just nice to have a snack ready to go. Or you could fry them and microwave them, I guess. But it's kind of nice to have a snack ready to go when you're gaming. Okay. But yeah, for those who have not played Shadowrun, Hong Kong yet. It's kind of a top-down, like an isometric RPG that you see, very similar to the Baldur's Gate series. So it's very interesting seeing how that translated to a cyberpunk genre. Though it's a little bit more turn-based rather than just everybody going at once. But hey, I'm liking it because considering that I haven't really had a chance to do much gaming with anybody except for my friend Strike for our 5th edition D&D game that we have every Thursday night. Which, by the way, he's going to be DMing a show for Chaotic Tiefling Productions. I want to say it started last Sunday or it's starting this weekend. But the cast is excellent, you should check it out. And I'll just go ahead and mention tonight that I will not be streaming next week because Wednesday night happens to be, well, this upcoming Wednesday happens to be the series finale for my good friend's audio dungeon. Like, as in, people may die, or people have died, actually, in the recent episodes. But this is the finale. Like, they will be starting an entirely new story with new characters after next Wednesday. So, I do not want to miss that. I got to be a guest on their show once, and had a really fun time. So, please do join me for that. Okay. Oh, wait, no. It's this way. But yeah, as I was saying, it's been years since I've played Shadowrun, and I will admit I didn't really have the best experience playing, because the guy DMing happened to be my boyfriend at the time, and he was, well, let's just say that I only count one of my exes as evil. I mean, I'm still friends with a lot of them. And while yes, we've had our disagreements, I've never actually counted them as evil, except for this guy. He was actually sadistic and emotionally abusive, so... and likewise was his DMing style, unfortunately. But I'm getting back into Shadowrun, especially since I want to do more recipes based on it. I mean, I can't just do medieval fantasy all the time. And I know cyberpunk is really starting to emerge as of late. So, yeah. I get to learn how to play the game through a system where I'm not going to embarrass myself yet. And that way I at least know a bit more about the lore of the game before I commit to a game group or try playing it at Gen Con. Even though the nice thing about Gen Con is that they make it very, very new player friendly. Okay, it looks like my sauce is definitely... Oh, that's looking... Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is done. That is perfect. It is done. Okay, that's delicious. Heck yeah! Okay, so our dipping sauce is finished, so I'm going to shut off. Shut that off. Pour it into this bowl. And let it sit to cool some. Cool beans. Okay. Let's see, how long does it take to cook these things? Okay, yeah, these things cook up in like 1 to 2 minutes once they start frying, so I'm gonna try to make up as much as I can just so we run out of filling. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, there we go. One, 2, and 3. You know, I need to make stuff like this more often. It's strangely therapeutic once I get to the assembling part. Especially while listening to chiptune music. Okay. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay, how many do we have so far? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Actually, you know what? Just to speed things up a little bit, because we got about, well, I don't know if I'm going to be making them that fast. Kind of tempted to go ahead and set my husband on to frying these things. So, hey babe, can you get me a plate and line it with some paper towels? And let's see here. Now let's put that wok back on to our stovetop. What? No. Okay. So I'm just gonna heat that about kind of a medium-low heat. Add about, let's see, about a ½ inch of vegetable oil. And let that preheat for about 5 minutes. And why don't you get a plate so I can put these things on for you to fry? Now, when you cook these, and I'll show you one, I'll show you a couple to start out with. Just gonna go ahead and get these going. I probably should stack them pyramid style so it doesn't stick too much. Now that works. Okay. And we're just waiting on that oil to get hot. So you're going to need a pair of tongs for this part. Because as we showed earlier, oil is hot. Oil burns. So. Are you a crab? I love you. All right. Okay, so still not quite hot enough yet. Alright. Could have sworn that timer paused for a second. And I'm realizing that dumb me is missing out on a very important step. And that is to seal up the edge of the roll by wetting it a little bit with your finger and then rolling over. Yeah. Oh, that one's pretty sealed. Okay, I think I'll do that with all the new ones. It'll be fine. Okay, so we're at about a minute. I'm just gonna take a little bit of filling to see how hot it is. Oh yeah, that's pretty darn hot. Okay, so what you're going to see me do here is that you want to slide these into the oil. Seam side down. Like so. And you want to cook it then about 1 to 2 minutes total until it is completely golden brown. And then you would drain it on a paper towel lined plate. So no, 1 to 2 minutes total. As in, you need to be stirring that stuff around. Yes. Okay. I'm just going to finish up rolling here. And All right. We're definitely in the home stretch here. If I don't have filling flying all over my kitchen, that is. Those are looking good. Great job, babe. Okay. Okay. It looks like I've got enough filling for about probably one more roll after this. Okay. Let's see. Okay. And you know what? Since I have less filling than I do rolls, I'm going to take some of the taco meat that I made this weekend. And I'm going to fill the rest of the wrappers with those. Take advantage of my stuff here. So, here's the last of the lumpia to fry up. see, we've got how many wrappers left? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I had enough filling to make about, let's see, 25 minus 7, 18. Yeah. 18 rolls. Wait. Yes. Yes. 18 Lumpia rolls. So, I'm gonna make a couple with my pizza taco meat. And we'll keep those separate so I don't confuse them for photos. But I think this will be very tasty. And greasy as all get out, I'm not gonna lie. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and switch back so I can show you the stuff I made. So, there's this game called Night in the Woods, where it's kind of a anthropomorphic animals in kind of a suburban small town setting. But they have a mall kiosk that serves pizza tacos. So, one of the upcoming recipes for the blog is for some pizza tacos. And it was so good I actually ended up making another batch later on. And this doesn't have all the ingredients in it. I mean, normally I would have black olives, as well as bell peppers. But it's Italian sausage cooked with, what's it called? Italian seasoning, well, no, basil, crushed tomato, onion, bell peppers, taco seasoning. Yeah, let's do that. And, I mean, come on, pizza spring rolls. I think it's a very good combination. Okay, that's a half tablespoon. This is a tablespoon. And notice how I'm kind of using the Lumpia wrapper itself to kind of condense it into a roll here. So. There we go. We are in the home stretch. Two, three. Go for it, yeah. Okay. Okay. And these I might actually fry and then freeze to reheat it another time. But we shall see how hungry we are in the next few days. Kind of like the time I made achiote turkey tamales and had leftover masa, so I just ended up making leftover masa and corn husks. So I ended up making taking some smoked pork that my dad had given me, just mixing that with some more achiote sauce and making extra tamales. I mean, and if you have leftover wrappers, which you will, you can either, make up a second batch of filling, which then doesn't really match up, or you can go through your fridge and see what can be made into a filling. They're quite versatile like that. In this case, I have taco meat. For you, it could be chili. Or fried rice. Or, if you happen to stock poke or something. Oh yeah, Carter said you can go, load it up with some cherry pie filling and then fry it. Ooh. Ooh. Well, Rosario's code name, runner name, is Cherry Pink. I could have done cherry-filled ones! Next time. Oh, that would have been so tasty. And again, cherries aren't really easily accessible in the Shadowrun universe. So... Carter said that's why this is a special treat. Hey, theater nerd, it's been a while. Welcome to the stream. I know I'm not as regularly posting as I should, not regularly streaming as I should. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get back into good habits, and those good habits are streaming 3 times a month, at least. See. 2020 had been rough. Yes, it has been. Oh my gosh. And I think we do, but I have one wrapper after this. Yeah, 2020 was a mess, and I miss all my friends, and yourself included, that I didn't get to go see at Gen Con last year. Though I did get a survey from Gen Con asking, what would it take for you to come in this year, and that's the thing, it's like, I don't know if I want to go unless I can hug my friends, otherwise it's just going to be kind of dangling a carrot. But I also know I want to keep everybody safe, so it's rough, because I also just really want to go to Gen Con, and if it happens, and I'm not there, I feel like I'm going to miss out. I'm going to have missed out. So, I'm torn. I'm very, very torn on that. So, hopefully there'll be enough of a, response to the vaccine. Because, yeah, it's like, if I'm not able to go to conventions and see my friends and hug my friends, I mean, I'm not going to be able to have the party, obviously. So it's like if I wouldn't have been in Gen Con this year. I have local free music festival that I would have gone to instead. It's the same weekend. Oh gosh. Yeah. Let's see. I think for us it was planning to go to Gen Con. It was supposed to be my husband's first Gen Con last year. And, I mean, believe it or not, I was actually kind of staking out all of the hotel room, like all the hotels, beforehand. So, okay. And, voila! Fresh, well not fresh, but fried lumpia! Rosario's Lumpia from Shadowrun, Hong Kong. Let's see, I don't have vacation this year. I'm going to Florida on Sunday for a week, so that's most of my vacation. I get that. We're going to be visiting our former roommate slash little sister in Harrisburg, actually, on Memorial Day weekend. She had moved up there, gotten married, and so we're going to go visit and see what else we can do to help with the apartment. So, looking forward to that, but I mean, that's kind of the only vacation I have planned out this year. I mean, thing is, we all distance and test negative, and hopefully, we're hoping by that point that we'll have been vaccinated. Even though I think it's around that time that everyone's, I think that vaccine's releasing out to the general public around that time. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, and since it's usually a lot of fun sort of decorations and stuff on Lumpia, let's do some little stars or something for to decorate the top for the photos. So I'm just going to cut some very, very thin slices of carrot. Okay. And take my little vegetable cutter here. Yeah, beginning of April. Yeah, like I said, I'm hoping. I know Gen Con, it's gonna be kind of a cutting it close. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay. Alright, so I've got some carrot stars cut out to decorate my sauce. I wonder if any of these have cooled enough yet to eat. They're still pretty darn hot. Oh boy, yeah. I know I'm taking a huge risk by traveling. I'm gonna spend my 30th birthday with my parents who I haven't seen since October. Might as well. I mean, my parents are vaccinated. They, I guess my dad was a doctor before he retired. In fact, he was the head flight surgeon who basically handled mostly workman's comp type of claims for the FAA. Yeah, he's joined the Georgia Medical Corps, Georgia Medical Corps to administer vaccines. So that's what he's been doing. Very, very proud of him for doing that. Though he says it's been absolutely freezing because they have to do everything outside. But yeah, he got his second shot the other day, and has been, I think he administered like 200 shots the other day. So, yeah, getting some needles in the arms. Wait, that doesn't really sound right. You know what I mean? Okay, so, right. I think this is done. I just have to wait for it to cool down before I bite into it. It's still very hot. We've got the pizza taco rolls. Just, with leftover pizza taco meat from my Night in the Woods based recipe, which that should be showing up on the blog. I want to say within the next few weeks. I mean, I'm a little behind on posting. This week though, I will be posting, since I started in on a lot of the Baldur's Gate recipes, well, publishing on the blog, the Munchies and Minis recipes based off of the city of Baldur's Gate from Dungeons & Dragons. I'm going to be doing, posting up some recipes from the Blushing Mermaid Tavern from Baldur's Gate for the blog, as well as another recipe from the Helm and Cloak Inn later this week. So yeah, that should be pretty awesome. Next week, I think I'll be... God, what am I going to be posting? Probably the pizza tacos. Probably. Either the pizza tacos or this beef stew served in a cheese Yorkshire pudding based on Beauty and the Beast. So, yes. Here we are. Rosario's Lumpia, i.e. Shadownanny's Lumpia from Shadowrun Hong Kong. Yeah, pizza tacos were amazing, Theater Nerd. They were so good, I actually ended up making another batch, and that's what we're frying up in the remaining Lumpia wrappers tonight. I want to thank all of you for joining me tonight on Munchies and Minis. It's been a heck of an episode. I'm happy that my microphone made it for the rest of the episode. It actually had gone out towards the beginning for those who are just joining us. I'm... Cut one of these open? Okay. Before we, let's cut one of the less photogenic ones here. Kind of exploded all over the place, but look at that! Look how tasty that is. Just dump that in the sauce. Oh my god. Okay. That was delicious. Here.
You show the interior and stuff.
Yeah, I did show the interior. Here. Have a piece.
Oh man.
Good, right?
It is good.
Okay, awesome. Awesome. I'm glad they're cool enough to eat. These are actually pretty easy to make. Yeah, it's just the Lumpia wrappers make it. Oh my god. Oh, that's delicious. Very crispy. Anyway, this has been the Gluttonous Geek presents Munchies and Minis. I will not be streaming next week because I will be watching the series finale for the Audio Dungeon podcast. That will be on live starting, I want to say, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time over on Audio Dungeon's Twitch page as well as their Facebook. I very highly recommend their show. It's a lot of episodes to catch up to, but even so, it's just a fun experience watching because the audience gets to interact with the players. It's great. But yeah, I will be returning back not this upcoming week, the week after Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, with either a recipe for the, I want to say, the pork chestnut stew, or whatever else my Patreon subscribers happen to vote on for that week. I might post up a sweet Lumpia recipe later on for my Patreon subscribers. Anyway, before I get distracted more, my name is Catherine Barsonistas. Stay safe, stay sane, and stay you. And as always, have a great night.